You're watching Cheche live on Citizen TV. The chair of the Kenya, acting director general actually, of the Kenya Wildlife Service is our guest today. His name is William Kiprono. You've been defending your record of securing our wildlife. And a lot of our conversation has hinged on the challenges. And you tell us that you're well-resourced. You say that you've got...
I'm not saying that.
No, you've got all the support that you need. But our viewers feel that you're not doing a very good job.
Yeah, I'm not saying we are getting enough. I think we said from the onset that...
you have asked for more.
I've asked for more. It's a process. You know, this is not an event. Of course, you know that I don't want also to run away from responsibilities the way we have said. It's true. We have challenges, and we have to accept them that this is something we've done. But what I'm saying is that when we are pointing a finger at somebody, be aware that 3 fingers are also pointing at you. There is something which somebody else needs to do. Okay. Because in the question of, I've told about this issue of the mandate that we have given, of course, conservation and management of wildlife in this country. Yeah. So many challenges come on board, of course. You are not supposed to be alone in terms of doing most of it. We need everybody on board. It's a very important.
Cynthia in Lodwa says this man should not talk about patriotism here. He's earning millions and the rangers are taking peanuts. What can make them not compromise for a fair deal?
The question of millions, I think I don't want to show you my payslip, but you need to check with
I think that, let's say that, you know, the director has said that we have made a proposal the salaries
to double their salaries,
so they will deal with that matter. And if poor pay is part of the contribution to cartels poaching, maybe next year we'll have a different report when these things have matured. But I wanted to ask you, you talked about the mandate of KWS being slightly bigger and we're focusing on poaching. So let's look at the other mandate and how is it being delivered. Are you comfortable running, and what is that the KWS is doing apart from just protecting the animals from poachers and killers?
Increasing their numbers.
Yeah, of course, Makale, I think you are right, because we have 4 divisions in 8 divisions, I say, that we have in Kenya Wildlife Service. One of them being security, of course, that we have talked about. We have biodiversity research and monitoring, which of course deals with species. We have, of course, issues of...
Please speak up.
I'm saying, sorry, I'm saying we have those divisions that are in KWS. Of course, in terms of species management, we have been able to improve on the numbers. We have management plans which are in place for lions, other species, not only the endangered species. Of course, as an organization, we run through, we have a strategic plan. We are not going blindly. Our strategic plan is there to guide us. So we have a roadmap, so nobody should...
What does it say? Because this viewer says KWS should revise the strategic plan and incorporate ordinary Kenyans in its strategy. Ordinary Indians own elephants. Let them allow us to domesticate wildlife. Is that feasible?
Well, domesticating, we allow people to have conservancies. You can come up. I know that many people have come requesting for licenses, and we have licensed them to keep wildlife in their farms, whatever. And by the way, we're looking for space for wildlife. So we're ready to have something for space for wildlife, then we have whatever. Because spaces are one of the critical issues, by the way. You're asking me about why we are losing more elephants. We could even be losing more elephants than other animals due to lack of space. You go to Nairobi National Park now, soon it is going to be like a zoo. Because around it all, there are settlement, human settlement, people are building all over the concrete. These are areas where wildlife used to roam sometimes back. So what you are saying is that we are concentrating animals in one place, and by that you are reducing the breeding in terms of whatever. So we are also trying to acquire space for the wildlife within our some conservation areas. In fact, we have a plan for that one. So we have corridors, migratory corridors. They can be able to migrate. Because when you restrict wildlife in one place, then we have a problem.
Which is the sort of thing that the late Mutula Kilonzo had?
No, that was just
his own private ranch?
Yeah, a private ranch where he keeps some lions. Yeah.
But if somebody, a Kenyan, wanted to do the same, would they be able to do that, or they would have to go through you?
They will have to go through us. We give a license as what our mandate, part of our mandate is licensing also.
When Balala was the Minister for Tourism, at one time he came in our show, this TV, and just suggested that he would like to close Amboseli for 2 years.
Get the numbers up.
What is your take on that?
Well, I don't think that is okay. That was his view, but for us at the moment, we have not reached a stage. We believe there are other things to be done. It's not about closing the Amboseli for 2 years. I know sometimes, of course, the numbers also for tourists. When we go to Nairobi National Park, when we have a lot of population pressure in a place, it disturbs the kind of in terms of animals socially. You know, they are like human beings. When you are having a lot of vehicles moving in the park, another place becomes a problem. So I don't think that's a solution to close Kambosela.
Well, what about people, take this, does the director know that as from Manyani to Mariakane, people eat bushmeat because there are no butcheries?
Not sure. I think that one, the issue of the butcheries, please, I want to tell them to stop eating that. That's, of course, it's also dangerous and healthy, because in terms of the health. And also, these are, bushmeat also is a second crime to poaching in this country that we have also. It's an issue and challenge that we're talking about. Because part of decimating our animals is also killing our animals. I mean, that is what I'm saying, being responsible. When we talk of people doing this and they know they are doing this, it's wrong.
What are you doing
Some restaurants serve wildlife.
No, it's only crocodiles and ostrich that we permit in this country. Yeah, the two, but the others are illegal. That's illegal venture.
What are you doing about
we arrested. Doing about what?
About the eating of bushmeat?
No, we've arrested people, and of course we are educating people also the dangers and also the issues. Part of conservation measures.
What are the dangers?
Of course, when you eat meat which is not inspected, it can be poisonous, it can have anthrax, dangerous diseases, yeah. It's not. And of course, we also like poaching.
But people eat elephant meat.
No, I don't
Buffalo
know.
meat? Buffalo meat I've eaten?
Yeah, I've eaten in Meru.
Then we meet you
In Meru, when KWS kill an elephant because of encroaching on farms,
yeah,
the meat is eaten.
Animal control, yeah, that's part of it.
But the meat is eaten.
But it's wrong. Anyway, we can tell it's wrong. Whichever meat you want to eat, please make sure it is inspected.
I wanted to look at what is KWS doing to up its revenues, and what is the relationship you have in the developed structure of government right now with the county governments?
Of course, one is to seal the leakages. You know, sometimes when you have a revenue, you have to look at, first of all, I mean, the kind of interrogate your system that you use for collecting revenue. You know, we have had cases where there's what we call privileges that come into the system. So that's the first place we are looking at it. In fact, as we are talking now, I've already set a team to look at the revenue issue. Two, we need to offer new products, which we can have more people coming to. You know, year out, you are talking about this. You know, we need to have other variety, you know, that is, move out of the box and create new products to come in the market so that we are able to give better services to the people and they can pay better for them.
How viable is this suggestion from Badiko? Thank you for doing your best in protecting wildlife. Please consider erecting a well-protected security tower with sensors that can detect firearms from a distance, and also through using chips inserted in some of the wild animals, especially those which are highly targeted, which will make it easier to monitor their movements and the surroundings wherever they are through CCTV, supported by chips attached or inserted into the animals. Is that?
Yeah, I think it's a valid concern, and already we have started the microchipping of some animals. I think you remember in the Mara area, Narok area, we have already microchipped some rhinos. We are in the process. Of course, collaring. We was in elephant. We put some collars in elephants so that we can be able to monitor their movement. But of course, it also amounts to. It's also money. It's quite not. It's not a cheap option. It's also quite expensive.
Mm.
Yeah.
The problem is that poachers are not from Pluto. They are known and respected. That is a big problem. Yeah. And we've dwelt on this quite a bit with no satisfactory response from you.
I think, panel, what is there is, it is true. We have said, as, you know, the problem is sometimes people blame one side of the coin in terms of saying who should be responsible for this. We are concerned as an organization that poachers really are within the community. They live with the people.
So do you know who they are, the cartels? Do you know them or not?
What I'm saying, we might not know everybody, but we
know some.
We know some, and we have arrested them. Those whom we know, we arrest.
No, those are small people, not the
the question of small. We have actually, even as we are talking now in our courts, we don't want to mention names, but we have people currently in court.
Are you afraid to disclose some of these names, especially those who are big fish?
No, I don't think there is issue of big fish. The way I told you,
are you afraid?
I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of that.
I asked earlier on about how you work with the county governments. Let's take the instance of Narok County. which had a dispute about revenues collected from the park and the development of infrastructure, because tourists were coming and were saying the roads were bad and they were charging them a lot of money to go to Masai Mara. What is the existing arrangement between you and the county governments in respect of revenue collection and development of parks and the infrastructure there?
Anyway, Narok, that is Masai Mara, belongs to Narok County government. Fully, not, let me say it from today, it is the property of Narok County government. They own it. Where we interact with Narok County government, it is in terms of wildlife issues.
That's it, yes.
Yeah,
so
that is where we interact at that, in terms of managing the species, protection of security. But issues of infrastructure, issues of revenue collection, that is purely sole responsibility of
So you don't make any money from the Masai Mara?
No, we don't.
What about Amboseli? What's the difference between Amboseli and...
Amboseli is a national park we run, KWS owned.
And the Kajiado County wants to have ownership of it?
Well, as it is now, it's still gazetted as a national park run by Kenya Wildlife Service by law.
Are you in talks with the Kajiado County?
They are demanding it. Actually, they want
there's a controversy we want to create, but for sure it is a...
It is not a controversy. They're asking whether, in fact, there has been any put on KWS.
Yeah. No.
What is your response?
It was sorted out. It was sorted out. It was sorted out. We agreed it belongs to KWS Kenya. It's national government. You know what we have? It's not a KW. It's not a problem people. We are just an agents of government with
yes. So they
it's a property of the national government.
They were advised that this is not possible.
Okay.
Well, that is...
There's a suggestion from one of you before we came on air that's been echoed by Hillary through Twitter. Why can't KWS use drones in securing Kenya's wildlife, especially now that one has been manufactured by a Kenyan?
Now, that's the way we are doing. In fact, already we have one, and we are doing something about it. And maybe they don't know. It's already there somewhere, and we are doing something. No, this is part of a moment that we are using to protect the wildlife. And you know, you cannot go exposing everything that you're doing. Yeah.
Okay, we're winding up now. So final questions, final thoughts from the panel.
Well, you know, the mandate of KWS is very huge, as the director said. You know, development of species research and biodiversity and so forth. But I get the sense that the public of this country has not been sensitized adequately to participate in the mandate of preservation or conservation, so to speak. Wouldn't it be something, I mean, are you planning on some campaign first to reduce this poaching menace that involve the public? You know, I mean, you use other agencies you're working with, police and so forth, but I do not want to suppose that you're not doing it. But I would imagine that if you recruited your own intelligence across and around the parks where people are sneaking with these things, and you get information, you'd be able to, you know, stop some of this poaching that's going on, and people who are getting in the park who are suspicious. Two, in just, you know, public awareness and outreach, like have 1 month of conservation or focusing on wildlife, and let people roam in the parks, make preparation. Let's go and sample what we have so that we can also share in your passion to preserve the wildlife. People in Homa Bay have no clue perhaps what a rhino looks like. So the Mzungus know about it, and our own people in Kenya have no clue what it is because they have no interaction with some of our wildlife.
I think, Makali, you are very right. Of course, we are doing it, but we need to do more. I agree. We need to do more because without communities, we cannot go far. Let's be honest. And we can have as much technology, you can have as many guns, but without the support of the communities, there is no way you will go. And we cannot succeed in the war against poaching. So to me, it is critical that we are able to reach the community.
Yes, and I will not support unless they go and enjoy and realize the beauty of having this. 1 month where, you know, not everywhere, the whole country, because you'll be overwhelmed, but you can say, you know, this week it's going to be here, this week these parks, this week these parks. People can go in there, share, enjoy, picnic, and play with their children, and say, look, we have to preserve these animals.
Very good. I think that's a way to go. Of course, like we talk about Homa Bay, we already have Ruma National Park. I think, you know, we have already taken rhinos there. So we are reaching out to every community. So we have something at least in Homa Bay. And it's an issue to consider. I'm very sure that's a way. And that's why that's been our thinking as an organization, that we need to do more with the communities.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mutegi, your final thoughts or any final question?
I don't know whether you have a public relations section which sorts out your issues to the public for public education?
Yeah, we have one. We have one.
And how impactful is it?
Well, we are still building on it. We know, of course, it's not perfect. I cannot say it's 100%. We have already noted a few areas that needs to be addressed, and for sure, we are working on that one.
It's interesting that you pick up on the same issue, communication and public engagement, and just to reflect the views from our, the feedback from our viewers actually is that there's a problem, that you're not the right person for the job, and that this is an issue of failed leadership. They've listened to you for over the past hour, and they seem just as reticent about your ability to fight poachers and to conserve Kenya's wildlife. How would you respond to that?
Well, I'll respond to that, and I said, of course, I'm not saying that with 100%. That one, I'm a human being. Of course, I have my weakness and I have my strength, and I can assure you, according to me, my assessment, and I know very well, and even nobody has, of course, what we have talked about there is that, but as a person, I know I'm up to the job, and I can perform. I have 23 years, 24 years in public service, and I've done exemplary well, and I can assure you that one I have. So I want to assure Kenyans that I'm ready to listen to comments. I mean, suggestions, improvements, and because this is a task that we need to, all of us, do something about.
Maybe you need to just say something about, sorry I have to come back to it, but there are, of course, transitions happening. The new board is supposed to be constituted, the new law has been passed. Is the institutional establishment at KWS going well?
Well, as we are talking, the new act that has come up, the ministry is trying to reorganize, look for the new board, and we'll have in place. So at the moment, we have those challenges. With the new act came with some few issues here and there. We are engaging the relevant authorities to ensure that they
When should we expect the act to be properly addressed?
Well, in the next, of course, 3 months to come, we are working on something, and then we are able to look at some loopholes that were there, and then we are able to correct some of the issues. Of course, we need some amendment through the...
Right. And the Wildlife Security Task Force, when can we expect a conclusion?
Yeah, according to the chairman, it's telling me the next 3 months.
The next 3 months.
Yeah.
You've been acting Director General for a little over a year. You were appointed in 2012. Do you expect to be confirmed in your position?
No, I've just been acting since January when the act came.
Right.
The new act, yes.
But I've been the director for the last 1 year.
1 year.
Yeah.
So, do you expect to be confirmed? Is there a process?
Yeah, the process, of course, that is the responsibility of the appointing authority to do that. I cannot do it myself.
A new board hasn't been constituted pursuant to the new act. When is this due?
Yeah, the cabinet secretary is addressing the issue. Okay. The relevant body.
Okay. Any final thoughts for Kenyans before we leave?
Well, Kenyans, I want to say this is that it's not a question of apportioning blame. We have a responsibility, all of us. Poachers are people within our communities. We should not run away from the responsibility. I want to assure them as Kenya Wildlife Service, we are going to do our best with whatever we have, and I want to assure them that we have full support from the government and other security agencies. And I want to assure them that poaching is going to be brought to an end, with all of us working together. And when we stand together, but divided, we fall. Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, our time is up. That was the chair of the Kenya Wildlife, the acting Director General of the Kenya Wildlife Service, William Kiprono. We thank you for making time for us here on Cheche this morning. Our thanks also to our panelists, David Makali and Mutegin Jao. You've been watching Cheche live on Citizen TV. I'm Udwa Kamimo. Thank you for watching, and do enjoy the rest of your week.